Galadriel be flying around like she's from Cirque du Soleil or some Welcome to Voice of the Fat Mantis and my review of episode 6 of The Rings of Power. I am very excited to be doing this review, as excited as I was to watch it, because finally, like, long-form action has come, and it's almost kind of crazy. It wasn't just like one good action sequence. It was action sequence after action sequence after action sequence. I almost never got tired of these shenanigans right here, and I really did love it. I mean, they occasionally do silly stuff. For instance, Galadriel on the horse. She's like doing acrobatic dodging, and I'm like, I'm fine with her being a warrior, but can they just make her a normal warrior? Does she have to be better than everyone all the time? She's like showing off. Nobody likes to show off. Amazon Prime, nobody likes to show off. And we're going to get into all the details of this very exciting episode and its crazy climax. But first, I'm going to need you to smash that like button, subscribe to get all the content of Voice of the Fat Mantis. Getting into the episode. Essentially, this episode focused on two storylines and actually did something we've been waiting for a long time. They merged two storylines, large groups of Númenóreans and the people of the Southland. And we have been dying, literally praying that they do this entire time. And finally, it's happened. So hopefully that will reduce the amount of slowness that happens in future episodes, at least for the season. I was really happy to see this happen. So it actually starts off where everyone is preparing for essential war. I don't know how the Númenóreans know that war is coming, but they're already armored up. Like, the dawn is rising, and it's a weird scene. Everyone's sailing in their armor. Now, I don't know if you've ever worn medieval armor before, but it's very uncomfortable. It doesn't really work as something you could wear 24 hours a day. You know, but I don't know what's going on, but everyone's armored up. They're ready for war. When they get to land, they do full charge, as if they know they're going to rescue somebody. It's kind of weird, but I don't care. I got to see battles. We got a scene with Isildur and her. And I gotta say, Elsa, the Snow Queen, gives off more warmth than this chick. She is just... She's creepy to talk to. Galadriel just doesn't sell the scene. I'm not into it. Pass. So when we get to our Southlands and people, Adar gives his mighty orc speech, and then they stroll on into the fort, and they don't see anybody. And I'm like, oh, they abandoned the fort. That was their clever ploy. But no, it wasn't. Caramel Elf, Elrond, pops out. He's sniping them off, and then he pulls off some ridiculously stupid move. And here's what doesn't make any sense. They had a watchtower there that was invented by the elves to watch over the lands of the Southlands while they were occupying it. And for some reason, there's a network of ropes that if you burn or destroy one of those ropes, the entire structure comes crashing down. What kind of flimsy construction is that? They tried to make it a really daring scene. It ended up passing as stupid. And then Caramel Elf is doing his whole kung fu thing, and it was decent. It really gets better when it's actually full out fighting. First, humans disguised as orcs, all armored up, come to raid the town, and there's bloodbaths and murder and mayhem, and I'm loving it. Elrond gets into a fistfight with an orc he cannot at best, and I really love that scene, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually for a second there thought he may die. He came pretty close to his death, and who to save him? The unlikely, cowardly, a couple episodes about to surrender to Sauron, Bronwyn. Now, obviously, they're lovers. She came to the aid, and they needed to allow her to do one cool thing before she's shot with an arrow, becomes crippled, and basically almost ruins it for everybody. The orcs are able to use her as a bartering tool to get their Sauron key. Just as when we assume it is over for our heroes, the Númenóreans come crashing in with their fancy horses and fancy gear, and we get more action. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought they were going to make me wait another episode before we see anything else up. The only maybe flaw of this episode is not a lot of plot was delivered. However, there are a few hints of who characters are and what's going on. So I know I literally just recently made a video saying who is Meteor Man, and I was convinced that he's Sauron. Now I'm totally not convinced that he's Sauron. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking that it is probably Halbrand. And I think Halbrand is being disguised as a human. He decides to disguise within them. When they capture Adar, he has a serious problem with Adar. Of course, he doesn't say who he is or what his problem is. And Adar keeps trying to figure out, where do I know this guy from? Where do I know this guy from? I know this motherfucker, but I can't place it. Could it be that he's Sauron and you killed him before? Adar is under the belief that he killed Sauron. Now, obviously, that's a fake out. I don't think Adar is lying. I think he's mistaken. I think he thinks he killed the Dark Lord, but he did not. He's been hiding in plain sight. That's what I think Halbrand's issue with Adar is, and I find it totally fascinating. It is kind of funny that the humans don't ask for credentials when they meet their new king. There's a really lame scene. The Queen of the Numenor, Queen Miriel, is standing in front of a bar wench human from the Southlands. And they're having like a conversation and they're smiling at each other. And it's not even condescension. She's just being nice. There is no way in a million years a queen would ever have a conversation with a barmaid like that. That is a ridiculous scene. And it kind of shows you the failures of the writers on the writing team. They clearly don't know stuff about medieval times, but there's literally no way that a queen would ever do that. But they allow this scene to take place, and everyone's all bowing and happy that they meet Halbrand, but they don't know anything about this dude. He could be anyone. For all we know, he could be a Numenorian just dressed up to look like their king. And maybe they just need something to grasp onto. We all need some form of hope.
Rebellions are built on hope.
And maybe that's what they're looking for. But I am now completely reneging, and I believe that not only do I think that Halbrand is Sauron, but I think it is very possible that the Meteor Man is one of the Blue Wizards. Now, I think it's a real misdirect with the Meteor Man because they haven't given us any hints at all as to who he is. And somebody in the comments, actually, of my other video pointed out like this. They don't even stick to canon, so researching canon does not necessarily yield an answer for us. And it's right. It's kind of a fake out. A good mystery, they leave you clues that help you figure out what's going on. But it's possible that they don't even know what they're writing, so they're not actually leaving us clues, which is actually making me kind of angry. Now, after all these epic battles, all these epic struggles, you think you've gotten it all, and then they end up doing something just really bizarre. The barkeep, the one who worships Sauron, the one who encouraged everyone to trade sides, not only turns out that he's alive and he didn't die with the other treacherous humans, but he somehow has the key, the sword. And the thing that I can't understand is, how did he get this sword? I don't recall him getting the sword. I tried to watch the episode again, and I was actually flipping through it, and I was like, at what point does he get hold of the sword? At what point was it swapped out? And it's completely unclear. And that actually is an annoying aspect of it. But at least we get a big special effects moment. I love it. Where he activates the sword, plugs it into the keyhole. How did he know where the keyhole is? I feel like I need more information on this guy. Wait. Maybe he's Sauron. But so he knows where it is, and he creates Mount Doom. Now, we all saw this coming. We knew Mount Doom was coming, and we knew that's what Adar wanted. But there's more to Adar's plan, I'm sure of it. And we get to watch the floodwaters come down. The dam resides, the waters fall in, we see it just go down the mountain, fall into the crevices along the cave, fall down into the volcanic subterranean, and cause a massive destruction, and a wave of ashes coming on. And it was just epic in scale. Amazing work. This is a great production. We've got to admit this. I know some people are like, it's all style and no substance. But you got to admit, style does fend off bad writing. Sometimes you're willing to ignore some bad writing when you get scenes like this. This volcanic scene where you see Mount Doom has now been created and we see the sun being blotched out. Now, this will be a place where man fears to tread. And this is going to be the footsteps to Mordor, and I'm excited to see it. I didn't think Mount Doom would happen so quickly in the season, but I am happy that it did. I'm really worried that they spent all their money on action in this episode, and for the next couple episodes, we're going to get more just meandering around. But they went all out. Now, there aren't a lot of plot points, because like I said, the majority of the 56-minute running time was completely dedicated to action. A thing that I didn't fully understand either is that Arendur knows that Theo has some sort of emotional connection to the key / evil sword, the black blade or whatever it is, and yet he says, do yourself a favor, give this to the Numenor so they can throw it into the ocean. Why would you trust that kid? The kid's an addict. So basically, I don't let addicts carry my bag of heroin. I certainly wouldn't give that little kid the magic sword that makes him feel complete and doesn't make him feel like the loser that he is. It's illogical at best. That continues my theory that the boy is a half-elf and Arendur is his father. Funny thing about Galadriel is that she reveals that she's genocidal. That's right, she wants to kill every single last orc, even the ones that surrender. She is a really tough character to like. Genocide isn't cool, even when it's against a fictional race of evil-doing monsters. A lot of ups, very few downs, but it was high octane, and it's hard to dislike. Even Isildur amused me this episode, so very few failings. But the real question is, what did you think of it? Please let me know down in the comments. Remember to give me a like, subscribe to this channel, keep tuning in to Voice of the Fat Mantis for more updates on Rings of Power and other great reviews. Until next time, ciao for now.